Breno. It's actually left bank.
You led me down the garden path there with the right bank Merlot bullshit.
Even worse, it's actually going to be Cabernet dominant.
Oh, it looks like that was an interesting tasting, wasn't it?
So send me left banks, guys.
It's time for the reveal.
Shown why he works in the trade.
That's the other thing, right? The real question becomes, do you like the wine? Hi everyone, welcome to my first attempt at a blind wine tasting. Now I'm up here in Brisbane. I like to do content with my Brisbane buddies. It's amazing the community you can build through social media. How they become actual friends, which is completely mental. Now I have brought for today's tasting for Matt a Chateau Cos d'Eternal 2020. Right, so this is a Bordeaux wine. It's in a half bottle, so it should age a little bit quicker than its larger bottle counterparts, and I am pretty confident, although I will do some research before we post this, that it is a Merlot dominant blend. Well, it should be a Merlot dominant blend. Now, I'm looking for him to be able to pick that this is old world, that this is dark fruited, this has a little bit of like graphite-y, like pencil-y shavings, not, you know, good tannin, good acid structure, very good structure on the palate. That's what I find with a lot of Bordeaux wines, and obviously why they're so popular. And he's going to test me with a wine, and I'm going to try and get it right, which is very, very difficult. There's an element of playing the man, right? Like, you know, if you were playing me, you'd be like, oh, you're going to pick a Beach Rare Chardonnay or a Yarra Valley Pinot or something, because that's just what I would do. Or Burgundy, right? But, you know, there's an element of that, but you also have to do just what's in the glass in front of you. So wish us luck. And if you want to be a part of this in the future, hit me up. Cheers. Good luck to me and good luck to Matt.
Hey guys, Matt Evans here, Matt's Only Wines on Insta. So putting Breno to the task on a blind taste, see how he goes. So the wine I've picked today is the Tyrrell's 4 Acres Shiraz. So this one I think will be a challenging one. So we'll see how he goes. So this wine here, what he should be looking for is a lot of red fruit and a very solid long line of acid. So it should have quite a deceptive length. So I suspect we'll find as he takes a few sips and more sips, I think he's going to see the concentration really start to come as it's quite nuanced and it just sits there. So we'll see if he picks that up. What's going to be the challenge for Breno is, does he go Shiraz here, where it's that Hunter Burgundy style, so it's a bit lighter, more Pinot-esque? Does it start to pull him to more of a Grenache, a Gamay, or even a Burgundy or Pinot? So see if he gets dragged a bit of the wrong way, but he should definitely pick up the red fruited nature, soft kind of tannins that just like slightly hug the cheeks, but nothing too firm, and definitely not that kind of ripe kind of style that you get from the Barossa. So we shouldn't really be getting to South Australia Shiraz here. Quite a different style and very unique to the Hunter, and a great producer with Tyrrell's. So let's see how he goes. Okay, let's see how we go with this one. So, color, I'm not seeing purple, looks a bit more red. Not hugely transparent, so it looks like it's going to be a more medium, fuller bodied, but definitely not leaning to that kind of thick, deep Barossa style that you might get from a Tallbreck on color, if it's Shiraz or Australian, but definitely keeps in most varietals so far. So red fruited. Not getting a huge oak on the nose. Bit of florals. Quite fresh. So again, not giving way too much so far to me. It's good length and structure on that. Okay, so there's a bit of acid and a bit of tannin. So the tannin's starting to pull me a little bit away from Gamay, potentially away from Pinot. Leaves open Grenache. Definitely could still be Shiraz. It's not too far off actually what a Hunter Shiraz would taste like, so that would be ironic. still red fruited. I'm not getting any green, so I'm pulling away. If I think about, is it a light-bodied, full-bodied? I'm not getting kind of a Bordeaux blend there unless it doesn't feel ripe, but it doesn't feel green. So I'm not landing on a Bordeaux varietal at this stage. But I'm not getting any purple color to get me to Shiraz either, though it feels somewhere between a Shiraz and a Grenache on weight, medium bodied. Could it be Italian? Potentially. This one's tough.
Merlot, the final call countdown now. He's had enough time. All right.
So I'm getting a lot of red fruit. There's no major bricking, so I'm kind of pulling away from Italian maybe a little bit there. But look, top guesses in mind would be something with a little lighter tannin on the Barolo side, so Barbaresco. So on the Nebbiolo side, so Barbaresco, or maybe even the Sangiovese, but probably Barbaresco. But I would not rule out a Hunter Shiraz or a Cool Climate Shiraz at the same time. So I'm gonna go Barbaresco. Given that there's no bricking, I'm gonna have to go young. So I'm gonna lean somewhere around the 2021 vintage. So final answer, Barbaresco 2021.
All right, Wine Animals. We are here in Brisbane and I've been blind challenged by Matt's Only Wines. And what we have here is we have a red wine. Just gonna get that one out of the gate. Color is off the white, I don't know, off my hand there. The color is reddish with a purpley tinge, I'm gonna say. It doesn't have any browning or staining or bricking around the rim. So I'm gonna think that this is a younger wine for that reason. It's sort of see-through, but it's still pretty dark. So I'm gonna rule out some of the lighter styles of grape just on appearance, okay? I mean, so I really have a lot going for it right now. I think I need to like get my nose in check. Okay, I'm gonna rule out Pinot, I'm gonna rule out Gannet, I'm gonna rule out Pinot Meunier, I'm gonna rule out Nebbiolo, I'm gonna rule out all of those grapes, just gone out the window. Probably shouldn't do that, but I'm going to. And I'm gonna go either down a Shiraz or a Cabernet path, right? I don't think it's like a big Barossa Shiraz because it's not like inky and deep and dark. It's black fruits, it's blue fruits, it's plums. Got some spice, some vanilla, but almost like not coconutty, but there's like a sweetness to it from the oak, I'm gonna think. It's not a hot climate. I think it's probably a cool to moderate climate. It's got good tannins, it's got really good tannin actually. The acid sort of plays a back seat to the actual tannin. It's grippy, it's young, it's fresh. I think this is Hunter Valley. I think this is Shiraz. And I think it's 2023, probably Mount Pleasant or Tyrrell's, something along those lines. And that's my final answer, no fucking around. All right, guys, it's time for the reveal. All right, you got our guesses. Matt went with a 20 or a 21 Barbaresco, so Nebbiolo the grape. And I went for a Hunter Valley Shiraz 23. So I think I said Mount Pleasant or Tyrrell's as my call.
I think you're pretty.
So I think it's time for the reveal. So I'll let the guest go first. So Matt can reveal first.
So Breno's, he's absolutely nailed it, except the vintage.
I was about 10 years off on the vintage.
That's it. So it's aging well gracefully, one would say.
What a wine. 290 dozen only produced. So this is one of their premium labels.
Pre-phylloxera, so I think somewhere around 1880-ish, give or take.
1879.
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is crazy good wine, but it's quite unique to Tyrrell's. So it's definitely a bit more of a lighter, more elegant style, which is line and length, as opposed to some of the other wines from like Brokerwood, Mount Pleasant, which might be a bit more on the hill or sun exposed and have a a bit of a different feel to this wine. So very unique and very like has a feel of place.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Right? Whether or not you get it right, which is just a fluke, right? Or semi-right, right? Or you get it wrong, whatever. That's luck, right? And tasting a shit ton of wines, of course. But do you like it? That's like the main thing. And I really like this wine. Hunter Valley Shiraz, that's the other thing, not really get me going. The real question becomes, especially that new Mount Pleasant like the 23, that's a serious wine.
Yep.
But Matt called Barbaresco, and he was probably, he's in the right part of the world. Like you're in the old world. You're in the right side of the world. Wrong varietal. And so we are Cos d'Eternal out of 375 to 2020. So Merlot. Any Cabernet in there?
So no, look, maybe a bit of Cabernet Franc, but look, what I wasn't getting is any kind of that greenness you get. So look, I immediately thought, is there any Cabernet? No. So that takes you away from the left bank. But yeah, where you should go as well, it could be more of a Merlot dominated right bank. I just haven't had enough right bank wines, I think, to really pin that one down. But it's consistent. I was saying with the Barbaresco, look, what I wasn't really getting was that tannin, and I wasn't even that bricking. So conviction was low, but you got to go with where you're at on the time.
I feel like you got to like, it's probably where you want to call early.
Yeah, but
as you fuck around in your head and you go somewhere else.
But what I wasn't getting, if you think about a lot of the Australian wines, we get definitely not getting that purple or that deep, sunbaked, really jammy color. Yeah, so you can kind of rule out a lot of those South Australian wines. Again, you go to Mara River, you're not getting that Cabernet dominance. So it started to really pull out a lot of the Australian wines. But yeah.
Because this to me was Australian, like atypical, like cooler climate Shiraz. Like it really, like now it really smells like Hunter Valley Shiraz.
Yeah. And that was pop and pour. So actually even more impressive you got there, given it's still going to need time to open up. So
the acid was what I should have actually like played. Like I knew the tannin structure was great and the acid was sort of playing second fiddle. Instead of being like, high tannin and low acid. I should have been like integrated acid.
Yeah.
A little bit of age, a little bit of, but the color is like, it's just bright. Like I want to see what a 23 looks like of this wine side by side to see the color. Because it would have to be almost identical.
So I think if I did bring a 20, like it's even lighter. There's a bit more, I think, carbonic maceration. So it would have been a little bit more sweeter as well, I think, than this one. But yeah,
great wine.
It's going to taste super young. It's well, it's like you just pulled it out of a barrel. But the key with this one is, I find, is you take your first sip and you take your second sip, third, and you start to realize that length and the acid, it just builds on you. So people, the first time they get it, it's subtle and it's nuanced. So the more you drink it, the more you kind of get that light bulb when you start.
The more sips I would have had, I would have maybe gone back to 2014. Yeah. Maybe I would have just deductively each sip gone back to year.
And I think it's that acid. It's just got so much acid that it just feels young. I would, if you blinded me on that, I'm not getting into 2014 myself.
But it's our first go at doing this, right? It's like our first try at trying this. So that's the other thing, right? The real question becomes, do you like the wine? A huge thanks, not only to Matt, but to Evra and to everybody for jumping on board. We're going to sort of try and get these shortened down. We're going to play around with them. We're going to do a bunch more tricks to try and trick people. Later tonight, we're going to test the group tonight, a big group tonight with a blind wine and see what they all guess and what are we going to pick for them? The grape, the region, the vintage, and the price.
I think the quality.
Well, does price determine quality, you reckon, or just quality, like in general?
Well, quality should define price, right? If you say the quality, then that should.
You say top shelf, you'd be saying, all right, well, it's $200 or whatever it is. Yeah, okay.
Because you don't know the label, you don't know the brand, so that's really all you can judge. And then the price is probably a factor of your budget versus the quality, I'd imagine.
And if you want to blind wine me and do this, just hit me up, message me, let's do it. But the thing is, I get to blind wine you as well, and you have to go on camera. So it's like a little bit of like quid pro quo, because I don't mind being on camera, obviously. And I hope that Matty doesn't either. But a massive thanks again to Matt. Matt's Only Wines. Give him a follow. He's got a big young family like me. Not quite as big as mine, but still pretty big.
And send me some right bank Merlots for some training.
And cheers, bro. We're going to say this for tonight, yeah? And the Wine Animal and Matty is out.